Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize.
Move it.
Hey, guys. So today we're going to be on chapter 4, lead generation, talking about finding the motive. When a market shifts, you really have to hone in on what works. So I printed out kind of a summary of the chapter and figured we can go over it together. So first things first, what do we consider a lead? Anyone want to start?
Actually, someone who's gonna buy or sell.
Yes. In this chapter on page 55, it's good to identify our lead sources. So I kind of printed out a sheet on ways to generate leads, something that's going to make it
Sources like SOI.
Yeah. So how are you guys generating leads today?
SOI, cold calls.
So what?
Experiments.
People you know. Past clients.
That's fine.
And that's working for you.
Social media.
I mean,
It works as much as anything.
Right.
Just talking to people more out and about.
Yeah.
More liquor store.
Yeah, so this list here, if you go on 55, it talks about the list here, door knocking. Has anyone ever door knocked and gotten stuff out of it?
I used to, and the town's got nasty about it.
Really?
Yeah, my township just passed a no
There's
solicitation.
always one grumpy person in the neighborhood who's gonna.
Calling you?
I find if you can't knock, you just walk up to the front door and scream as loud as you can until somebody. Excuse me. I mean, but you got a listing from that last year.
Yeah, I represent both sides actually.
Yeah, I mean,
And with COVID, were people like weird about you doing that, like knocking or no?
No.
Yeah.
and you're a dude, and I know it sounds weird, but a lot of guys are like, I'm not doing that. I'm a guy. Like they're gonna look at me like and you didn't have an issue.
Not fortunately for my case, it was an older woman. Probably found me attractive. So.
It helps.
Like, who's this guy randomly knocking my door? So, yeah, I actually reminded her a lot of her son, so that actually helped out in my favor as well. So
You did what?
I reminded her of
Oh.
her son.
Okay, but you wouldn't have made that connection if you didn't knock on that door.
No, it was honestly just pure luck because she was just talking about like the night before, or 2 days before, how she was saying about selling her house. So just right time, right place.
Yeah, it
What it
works.
is.
I've gotten like 3 listings by door knocking. It definitely does work. And one neighborhood, there was an agent that was like predominantly in that neighborhood. So every time I knocked on the door, they're like, are you on so-and-so's team? Are you on so-and-so's team? And I would just say no. And the one guy was like, I haven't never seen her door knocking here. I'm going to list with you just because I like what you're doing. So
Yeah.
It does work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just getting rid of that uncomfortableness.
Yeah. What are you doing when you're door knocking? What were you doing for that one? You said you had a buyer.
Yeah, so I
What
only
did you do if somebody didn't answer?
If they didn't answer, I have we have these like little like pamphlet 6x4 little things that said the Albus team, really nice design with their photos in the back, and like our brief little story. And I staple my business card on there so they know exactly like who knocked on the door. So I usually like leave that within the door jam or resting on top or something. So like when they first walk in, like, it's like, well, like, what is this little thing here? And yeah, even when I go around door knock, I still carry that and I just give it to them. I was like, no, if you're not interested now, maybe in the future, or we hear out of your neighbors, interested in something, let me know. And I only like go around like neighborhoods that I know I have buyers for. I don't, same thing when I do like mailers. I like send stuff out saying like I have qualified people that are looking in this specific neighborhood. So that way when I actually do those appointments, I have someone like lined up, potentially buying.
Did you add anybody to your database from, like, are you having success
Yeah.
with other people? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had another person who's relatively same situation now, was that one of the neighbors is actually a realtor. I don't know if it was before, but his wife answered. But I might be getting potential listing there.
This is from door knocking from a
Door
referral.
knock. So in this specific neighborhood, I sent 2 letters, 1 letter followed up with the door knock, and then sent another letter. And I might be getting both neighbors side by side.
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
And so that's, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. You know how many doors you knock on to get that?
not specific development, there was 30 doors.
That's it?
And you almost got, and you got 2.
You must be really good looking.
Must be doing something.
That's awesome.
And in total so far, the amount of hours I've spent, maybe 5 hours of my time. And I've already closed 1 deal representing both sides.
And you have
so-
2 potentials.
And 2
Two strong
potentials
potentials.
at 600K.
Awesome.
Which is a huge thing.
It's awesome.
That's awesome. And I like talking about ways like this because with the market shifting, everybody can go and buy leads, but how can you generate leads and save money? Because you never know when everything's gonna dry up. So what about like open houses? How are people doing with open houses? I feel like they're getting busier now.
Definitely.
They're hard to get.
Yeah, they're hard to be able, yeah.
Like, I almost feel like we have to shift, because a really big thing for the new agents is to do open houses. Like, it's such an important thing to do. But it could take you up till Thursday just to get it scheduled.
Right.
Talk about what you do, like as a new agent, how you could like promote it, even though it's not your listing.
Just like this, literally like this. I mean, if you can make, we make door hangers, and a lot agents do, like Tim Bowen's a really good example, who he has the imprint door hangers like every time he does one, and he door knocks the entire neighborhood, then invites neighbors to the open house, does the open house, and then calls after, letting them, anybody who wanted to know how it went, letting them know. So it gives you 3 touches in the neighborhood.
Yeah. On page 71, it talks about taking open houses beyond the basics on how to really be seen and in the
This is a
neighborhood.
7-level open house.
Yeah,
So that 7 level, like you got to be on level 6 or 7. Because if you're only on like those first couple levels, you're not doing any pre-open house marketing. And we all know that these open houses will sell a lot of times before the
yeah,
open house, and it'll cancel it. So
exactly. Has anyone done a level 6 or 7 open house? Gotten balloons and went out and invited the neighbors on the street?
I did.
how did you do one this weekend?
No.
Did you try? I can't remember. And
No, no one's even answered their phone.
yeah, so that's the biggest challenge right now for sure.
Yeah,
We're looking on 70.
And like I call, I leave a message and then I'll send a text, but
It's like the listing agents are, especially if you have more than one. I know how it is to have one listing. It's insanity. Like, and we
Right.
have, so then you're just asking to do an open house. You're like, I don't even care. I can't even get back to you because we have 17 offers already or whatever. So
Also, like, depends on who listening to. Yeah, I have 2 listens. We're about to expire, but-
I have come across that too. Like, I think at least 2 agents said that, because I'm new, I should go for something at a higher price point. I heard that twice.
why did they give you a reason
I
for
think
that?
you and I talked.
Was it you?
I had the one in Zieglerville, yeah, it was
Okay.
like, don't drag all the way down here, for this one, find something.
Yeah, so I
Better.
have had twice people.
What's the reasoning for doing a more expensive one?
More money, I'm sure.
True, but lower turnout, and most people doing, would you agree that most people buying a more expensive house are to move up a second, not their first house, it's probably their second.
Oh, sure.
And with that comes a lot more people who are attached to an agent or have somebody they know or coming from a community where they're represented. I agree with you. I mean, and I was even going to say, like, that if you can't find an open house, do it.
Right.
But when I left, it was like my thing, I was doing like 2+ a weekend. I hated doing the expensive ones.
Wow.
I was young, so the people that are coming in are older than me, and they're coming in with an agent and it was way less people. But when I did a $200,000 or $300,000 open house, they would so much more people.
Yeah.
And it was my market, first time buyers.
Confidence.
Also, Carrie, you could do an $800,000 open house. Somebody would walk in and be like, "Oh, Carrie Rothamel, you have a background as an attorney, and you're so." it was more challenging for me, but I think that I would go for it. you
I
know.
mean, I was accepting to take whatever.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to get them to say, yes, you can.
Any open house can be fantastic. I was
Right,
wondering
yeah.
if people do even more than.
No,
one
yeah,
per
no,
weekend.
she was totally
Fun.
nice about it, no.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure, oh, of course, yeah, and I don't think you're gonna do anything.
Yeah, we didn't drive all the way down there.
No.
I already had to talk to them. Did you ask about shadowing first?
Yeah, have you done one yet or not?
She's
Yeah,
ready, she's done her
shadowed.
she shadowed 3. yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So what's another way without spending money? Open house, we did open houses, door knocking. What about calling the sphere? Has anybody called like past people, try to get?
Of course. I'm just setting up my contacts now in the system, so I'm gonna be able to reach out to them more easily. Yeah.
Awesome.
Biker didn't have any kind of good system, so. I'm
Yeah.
Happy to get it over here and get started.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had, past few have actually been from reaching out to, past clients.
And you've had success.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Fairly.
You will.
It's gonna close.
One thing we talked about a family reunion, it's definitely not meant to be like a discouraging thing, but there's also a lot of agents now. And it's more likely, especially for somebody like you or you with an established database, that people in your database are now in other people's databases that weren't before.
Mhm.
So if it's even more important now than ever to be doing the 33 touch, to making sure you're constantly in touch with to protect that database, because there's more overlap now than there has been.
It shrink again by the end of the summer.
Yeah, so if you go to page 2, I kind of printed out, I wanted to read this to stay on top of what works. Says like Keller shares and shift, there's a difference between. Oh, yeah. So it says like Keller shares and shifts, there's a difference between what works for our business and what is going to work. Building effective lead generation programs in the middle of a shift requires us to stay nimble and adjust our strategy as the market continues to evolve. One of the first areas to be shaken up during the middle of a shift is our message to the market. And it goes on to talk about how our message to the market is really what's going to affect people to list or buy. So what do you guys think our message to the market is right now?
I think, and I'm trying to have this conversation with a guy on Facebook, a couple of people. Seems to me the listing, the biggest fear right now for people that want to sell is the fear of being able to get into something else.
Yeah.
A fear of being homeless comes up a lot. I think that's the biggest.
I agree. How do we like get over that, would you say?
Well, we've never left anybody homeless, and so I'm trying to think through it. So there's, what they don't know is the different contingencies that we can help them with to protect them from being homeless.
And talking about it confidently helps.
Talking about a conflict, yeah.
That's what we talked about.
And
The list,
the contingencies and the options are different depending on people's circumstances.
the reverse contingency.
Yeah.
So that's a suitable housing contingency. I like when you call it a reverse contingency. This was somebody else, coming from somebody else, not me, but like, what is that? More than like suitable housing contingency is not like an easy thing or like a keyword, but people know what a contingency is, but a reverse contingency, what is that? Well, when we list your house, the sale of your house is contingent on you finding somewhere to buy. And we've talked about all,
Yeah.
And we find all the time with our sellers that they get an offer. We literally have sellers that get offers that are so good that they're like, I'll live in a hotel.
No, that's true. And Lindsay, you weren't here before. We were talking about like talking to our sphere. I know you do Popeyes and that has helped.
Yeah, I do Popeyes quarterly, and really. I didn't even think that for my phone here, so I apologize. Yeah, I do Popeyes quarterly, and I think every single time I do my Popeyes, like I personally do them because a lot of my clients are home, and it ends up being like, oh my gosh, come in, see what we did. So it's like that one
Yeah.
touch there. And then, if they're not home, they almost feel like they have to give me a referral of some sort. So almost every single time I do that, I get at least like 3 referrals, whether or not they all stick. But, you know, it's good to just, you know, use the Popeye method and go to all of your past people and just drop something small off, you know, like something I did last year that everybody loved was I bought lottery tickets and stapled them to a little card that said, I'm so lucky to have your referrals and your business, yada, yada. And I dropped all those off, and some people would text me, oh, I won $2, I can buy a coffee, or, you know, whatever. But it's small, it doesn't cost a lot, and it's, you know, an easy way to hit your sphere, for sure.
Yeah. One of the things,
That's a good time to do that.
What?
St. Patty's Day is a good time to do that.
Oh, St. Patty's Day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody
I did
did
last
tickets,
year, I
yeah.
did the month of the, yeah, I did that. I mean, there are online, you can just Google like Popeye ideas for spring, summer, fall, winter, you know, Valentine's, like anything, there's so many ideas. I mean, there are people on the Bold and like if you take in Bold on Bold Facebook groups that do it every single month. You don't have to do it every month. I do it quarterly and I still, you know, get that touch.
I mean, doing the lottery ticket is great because it gives you an easy second touch of, did you win anything?
Yeah.
You just send a text to everybody that you dropped it off at. to ask them.
Usually too, when I drop it off, I have a text pre-created with like little emojis, everything that I just like copy and paste right after I drop it off. Like I'll knock if they're home, I'll say hi. If they're not home, I don't see any cards, like, I'll just leave it on their door. And then I text them and just say, hey, just stop by to drop off a little goodie. Like just wanted to thank you so much for your referrals and your continued business. Like you just know this means so much to me. Short text, and then everybody, that way they know that it was from me, even though it has my marketing on it, but you know, it's the touch on with an item plus you're texting them.
Keep saying thank you for your referrals and your.
Even if they've never given me one, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the one thing.
Yeah, it's almost just like, well, shit.
Well, that's what
What
it's-
are you
Yeah.
talking about? You know.
You know, that's what it says in MREA, and I struggle with it, is every single time that you reach out to somebody or touch somebody, that you give them instructions on how to send you a referral. Every time.
Yeah. Another thing too is that like culture does have all these events and we are doing some that like you can invite your sphere to, and these coat drives and stuff, like this is an easy, free way for you to touch your sphere. When we did that coat drive, like everybody should have been touching their sphere with that coat drive.
That's what we said. That's what, when we're talking about Tim putting the door knockers out in the neighborhood. So when we did the coat drive thing, we made a graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I took Sarah's graphic and we put it on door
Made one
hangers.
too.
We put it on the door hangers, and then when you're inviting the neighbors, you say, bring a cold weather clothing, bring something to donate. And then you
Yeah.
say, and then so Tim, who was it you? Somebody was like,
Anybody do that?
I brought flyers in my other house and put it in the Facebook group.
and put it in the local Facebook group,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
shared it on my
something.
Instagram. I
So,
think you did too, right?
and so, yeah, think about this too. When we do stuff like that, the reason why you post it on your personal Facebook page is because post it and then post again when it's done. Like Cora took all those pictures of all of what we got, so nobody ever follows up. Somebody told me this early on. They're like, nobody ever lets me know how it went.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do that. It's actually a better post to show how it went than it is to ask for stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I sent out all those pictures from Cora, and I did see a few agents post it, like, this is what we raised, because we did do a really good job. With that.
Yeah.
We do so good with that stuff.
Tim
brought
brought car notes.
Tim,
Yeah. Yeah, something like that we did talk about at family reunion was hosting events for your sphere. And if you're not at a point in your business that one, you can afford it, or you don't have, you know, people to help you throw these together, the office does throw some things where you are allowed to invite outside people, like we have the carnival coming up. And every event that these other agents were talking about, so you hit these people 5 times. An email, a phone call, a text message, and then, you know, like a sorry you couldn't make it, or a thank you for coming, like, you know, these events, like, you know, people that have kids that wanna come to a carnival, like, invite them, like, make it be a point as to why, like, you might not be able to host your own event right now, but like, take advantage of the ones that get.
Yeah, they did that
there.
cars and coffee one before in the
Yeah.
parking lot. People invited outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
too.
they did, that was a great
Yeah.
idea.
I heard that was a good turn.
I remember seeing that when I wasn't here, the cars and coffee that they did here. You know what, if you don't know what a cars and coffee is, you bring a nice car, if you have it, and you park them, and you can walk, you know, you put the hood up, that type of thing. There's coffee provided and donuts or whatever, and you just network, you know, talk to other people about their cars or just hang out. And I saw Simmet was the one that did that, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to do that. I was mad at him for taking, for doing that, but I wasn't even here yet. It's so
Doesn't
great.
mean you can't do
But it was packed. It was
Yeah.
It was
packed.
packed.
It's a
Yeah.
great
There was a
idea.
lot of people.
And that costs you $0 to do
Yeah.
that, by the way, or to get the Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Call Frank Gamma and have him get the coffee. Call
Yeah.
Brianne, she'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard of 2 people doing Popeyes that were cool like this month. It was on 2/2/22. You probably
Yeah.
could have did it on they did the $2 lottery ticket.
That's what I said, yeah.
And then somebody just posted for National Margarita Day. They went around, they had 50 past clients and they dropped off mini margaritas and like margarita on me for National Margarita Day.
What did you do for Valentine's?
I did I did like a wine bottle. I forget what I wrote, but it was like wine and chocolates. And I put like, you are the heart of my business. And I dropped those off and I actually got people calling me. So it just, I
Calling you to
feel
what? To thank you?
like, thank me. And, oh, I'm working with one of my buyer sisters now. Somebody else is like, oh, the market's good. I'm looking to buy like a rental property. So it
It's just
started
staying top of mind.
and it starts
Like, you think
conversation.
You are, but it stays, that it makes you even more top of mind. Like a cheap one too is like the windshield wiper fluid is pretty cheap and you can buy that in bulk and buy a bunch of those and then get your marketing team to just make you like, it says, I can provide a clear view of the market, like, always here for your referral. And you just tie that right on with your information. Like there's so many ideas out there.
Yeah, if I offer a piece of advice, because what was hard for me, because I used to do this and I really dropped the ball with this stuff now from coaching, but anyway, plan this out now. Like you should be buying your summer stuff or your Thanksgiving stuff like now. Put it in your basement or something so that you're ready to go. Put it in your calendar, like on a Monday that I'm gonna do it. Because what happens is you get there and then it's too late.
Oh, yeah, you have to
Every
plan that
time
because
you
then you're
get
like, oh,
there, it's too
Valentine's
late.
Day's here. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and now it's 2 days before Valentine's Day and you were busy running buyers around. But if you already bought the stuff and it's in your house
Right.
and you have it in your calendar on Monday, the week before, like put that stuff together, you're gonna do it.
And we have more than
that's a
10
good idea.
people's houses to stop by, depending on where you've also sold houses, like I've sold all over, that it's like some houses are 15 minutes away. It's like, it can take you like
Absolutely,
all week
yeah.
with stopping and, knocking and
Yeah.
talking to people, like it could take a whole week
It's such a good point.
to do it. So
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
try to plan in advance, to do those and come with the ideas and, like your title company, for the most part, should be able to design it and be able to print them if you send them enough business. They're not that expensive, but they can usually print them for you too.
Yeah, mine was like 4 on a piece of paper and I cut them out. So it was very like cost effective.
Yep.
And that's another important thing, like time block that. In this chapter, it talks about, are we time blocking our lead generation? Because anybody doing that, that's one of my goals this year.
That is-
Yeah.
Time block. Put up a calendar.
Yeah, on page 75, every day this guy has 8:30 to 11:30 lead generation.
Yeah.
I know Dan Moss does that.
Yeah,
I
and so
bet
is
you do too.
Shamel,
Yeah.
being quiet down there, but he's like the prime. If I said mission critical, I'm in real estate, I need to make money right now, 2 weeks, I need money. What do I do?
Cool.
Are you getting like you're talking to people?
And how many hours a day?
Four.
What do you do? How do you do it? What do you use?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you just write them on your database or phone, or are you going somewhere else to find?
Yeah, I have another software I use to find the leads that I look for, because I like off market properties.
He looks for vacant owners.
I like vacant owners. And I just call, I just trying to figure out, what the plans on the house. Just have a simple conversation this day. Go, I don't have no script, it kind of just goes by the person. So this is.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Anybody else do that? Cold calling, finding success?
That's what it should.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could do more. I usually, when I do it, whatever session I end, 1 or 2 really good conversations with somebody to follow up with.
Yeah.
Another thing I learned at the family reunion too, of like ways to lead gen, the girl, like she said she hated lead generation, was that to start with easy ones. So go through and call people on their birthdays and just be like, hey, it's Lindsay, like happy birthday, and then let them talk.
Yeah.
And start it easy, and then get into the shitty cold calls that you're
Yeah.
gonna keep getting rejected on.
call everybody you know and then call everybody you don't know.
Yep.
But that's actually a good point. So if you haven't, and then we just talked about this, like I think the first thing that you do with the sphere, your database, is you clean it up.
Mhm.
You want everybody's home address, phone, email, and their birthday. And they're very
And if you
easy
sold
scripts
them
to
their
reach out to.
anniversary of their their sale.
And if, yeah,
Because it doesn't have to be 1 year, it could be 5 years, and 10 years, hey, it's 5 years, like, are you thinking of selling soon? Because they usually say by
Well,
around year 8.
so one really cool thing, if there's literally anything that you're doing in Command, it should be that if you have an address for somebody, they're on the neighborhood nurture. Because that's all you need, and they get a monthly email, that's like the,
Oh,
you
very
have
cool.
anybody on that? All you need is their
No.
address, and it looks nice. It's legit stuff. It's pending sales, average sold price, homes on the market. And when they click on that, guess what? You can see it in your Command. So if you had 200 people on it and all of a sudden Susie Q is on every day, it happens. You know that that person's probably somebody that you should reach out to. And Command will tell you like, hey, this person's a hot lead because they keep going back to your.
That's
So when
cool.
they
I can
click
set that
on
up.
your neighborhood report, it shows like, oh, your neighborhood is X, and you can click add neighborhood. There's no ads, there's no BS. It's just the properties, a map, and your information.
That's really good because then they're gonna know, they're gonna have first access to, okay, what's being listed. So it's like, it's keeping them up in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that house just sold this
And you
much. Oh my
provided
gosh.
that for
And how
zero.
quickly.
For zero,
Yeah.
it costs you $0, and all you need is their address and the email. And it's the first thing that I say that you should do with your databases. Ask them for their, because people are like, oh, all I have is everybody's cell phones. Yeah, same.
Mhm.
When I started, now I make sure when I meet anybody that I get it all. But
Yeah, that way you're
I
on.
think for the most part though, with your buyers, you're getting their phone
Of
number
course,
and their
yeah.
email,
right,
because, you want to be able to send them.
Absolutely,
things,
yeah.
In the MLS,
But like
so.
open houses and stuff, you can pull right from public records.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can. And adding people on Facebook, like, don't be shy with that. You add
Yeah.
like everybody.
I need to do that.
My
I
goal is
start
to
looking
get to
people up.
5,000 friends. You know who has 5,000 friends? Mike McCann.
Yeah.
You know how much money Mike McCann makes? So I feel
Right.
like he has 5,000 friends. I
Well,
need
talking
5,000
about
friends.
Facebook, that's like Jolin's whole business.
Yeah.
Every day he goes on Facebook and he looks whose birthdays it is. If you have 6 people, he might not know them, but he's writing happy birthday, hope you have a great day. And that starts conversations.
That's a touch.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, because even if you don't
Yeah.
remember who they might remember you and be like, hey, Joel, like, how you been? And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do that. I heard you talk.
because if you go on Facebook every day, you get the notification that it's people's birthdays, I do.
That's
So
what I do.
everybody has to.
You do that?
Every day.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to
I
people?
know,
Every
yeah.
day.
Yeah. Or
It's
have you
kind of-
gotten anything out of it?
No, but I mean, going back, just being like, doing stuff every day.
Yeah, you might not
Like,
know.
Right.
And also too, like if it's your past client, like I'll write happy birthday on their Facebook page,
Football
but
as
then I
well,
text them.
or- yeah, exactly,
Like
same.
that's just a, Facebook just reminded you for free,
Yeah.
but it was your client's birthday, if you're friends with them on Facebook, like.
Like, we're putting together the 3-hour-a-day lead gen plan like right now. You might not think that sending a message to somebody saying happy birthday is lead gen, but it's literally.
They're
what it is.
remembering it.
Yep. It's
I mean,
a-
even just staying active. I posted, like I had stopped doing this, but
You comment
yesterday.
on everything.
Yeah, but I posted a picture of a house I was showing. 3 people messaged me.
Yeah, I mean, I do that every day, like
Mhm.
I show people like what house I'm at or whatever.
Yeah.
And literally, same thing, every day, someone's like, oh, that house is for sale. Oh, what's that going for?
Yeah.
Oh, what's this, like,
Have you
even,
ever gotten a lead from it too?
Yeah.
I got one this
You-
morning from my post yesterday. The guy wrote, he's like, oh my God, hey, like I'm looking to buy cash. He's like, do you have time for me?
Yeah.
Like, yes, when can we meet?
Yeah, that's what I say.
350 cash? Like, yeah.
even like people from high school that I mean, I wasn't the most sociable person in high school at all, and then they're reaching out, hey, I see you posting stuff, every day,
Yeah.
trying to buy a house this year.
Same.
Literally happened,
Yeah.
and then by the 5th house I showed them, they're under contract.
Yeah.
Another good one is Snapchat. You use Snapchat at all
Mhm.
because you can send a snap to everybody, like how I use a shortcuts message, the shortcuts app.
Oh,
They
yeah.
only
How do
think
you
you're
do- what do
sending
you
it
do
to
with that?
them. You can send it to everybody on your Snapchat. I used to do a lot of foreclosures. So that was always great, man. I got so many people that I didn't talk to that would message me and talk to me because I was posting like big holes in the floor and paint on the wall, that kind of stuff, Dungeness basements. And I
Oh,
put it on
yeah.
Snapchat and I'd just literally I'd stand in the house. I can remember it's freezing cold. I can't feel my fingers. So I'm like, click, 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 adding every single person I have on Snapchat to send it out. But it really does. It pays off if you continue to do it.
Yeah, that's a
People
good
still
idea.
use Snapchat, talk between Instagram.
No, ask these guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
The young crowd.
for 3 weeks, I did a guess the price contest on a house, I probably had like 100 people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I saw 3 people I knew from high school, like around Morristown, and they all brought it up.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yes,
I
that's
like
great.
that.
And, like,
Yeah,
even
guess the
like-
price. I love it. Yeah.
And like even like for you guys, I don't know, you guys are older, 19, 20, like people were gonna probably eventually
Yeah.
like move out of their parents' house. They were gonna
Yeah, the
find
parents,
a
like,
rental, they help them with rental, then like 3 years later, when they're 22, 23, and they go money, they're gonna.
Yeah, so
buy
we-
their first house.
Yeah, definitely make those, like, I have people who, even during my Popeyes, I so like got them in a rental, they were on my Popeye list. And within, a period of time, they ended up buying, but they remembered me because I kept stopping back.
I tell that story a lot because I started, I was 22, so none of my friends were buying, but I helped them with rentals. And this is what happened. I know one person. How do I get the lead? From the Snapchat stuff. Then I'm helping them get a rental in Philly, and they're not living by themselves. They have 2 roommates. And so now I have multiple instances where I have friends that I met because of this business, where it would be like 3 girls and they're all married now. And I've helped each of them buy a house and one of them sell a house in Conchi, all from one rental. Like if I didn't get that rental, then I wouldn't have known those other 2 and same, so
Yep.
without a doubt, it's worth it.
Rentals suck short term. but
Yeah.
long term.
And if you don't get them the rental, still make sure that you're involved because you want them in your database, you want to know their address, and you still want them to, they're still going to buy somewhere eventually. So even
And
if they
what's
don't
a
use an
rental?
agent-
Normally a year lease, so you follow up and,
2 years most.
yeah.
Follow up in 9 months. You start thinking about the lease, right?
Oh, yeah. It's trying to get them pre-approved. Maybe they couldn't buy.
Yeah.
So have them in touch with your lender then.
Yeah, I have a few people like that that are in rentals and try to keep track, touch base with them, but then said about that 9-month mark where I'm really trying to make sure that I'm in their thoughts, because the lease is coming up and they know it, and so they're thinking about whether they resign it, buy, whether they move, something, you have to make a decision. In
Yeah.
2 months, usually those decisions are made a month before the end of the lease.
Depending on the lease, but 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, true. So is anybody else getting anything off of social media, Instagram, Facebook?
I'm just starting. I posted, I've done this before, but this is the first time that it actually had teeth. I have a buyer, reverse contingent, looking for a place, and I haven't been able to find anything. And so I posted on those different groups. And I've got 2 potentials, but I have gotten people text me about, oh, I know this house, I know this house, or my neighbor's house, or one guy said, I have a 4-bedroom, persuade me to sell it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's working. I had 2 guys that like trolled me. But I had fun with that. So, yeah, they leave me alone.
Are you using your personal Facebook or?
I get confused as which ones
So
actually I'm
they
using,
say
but
now
I
that
think
you
it's my
shouldn't
personal.
have to, that it should all be one.
You mean using your personal page?
I don't even, I use my personal Facebook page and I have a separate business Facebook page, but I share everything to my personal too.
Yeah, your business page is more just like a
But
placeholder.
Instagram, I only have one.
Yeah.
Like I
Instagram
never
expands.
use my other one.
Doing that by default because it switches back.
Well, you
I
see-
never know which one I'm using.
If you ever ran ads, you need to have a page.
Right.
Yeah,
And you also need to, it took me 30 minutes to set my Facebook page up, and I haven't touched it. I post on there maybe once a year, but that way it's there. When
You
people
can
look
also
you up, it
connect.
helps you with SEO, which is like when
Yeah.
people look you
Oh,
up.
yeah, and I have those automated ads. that go
And when
like-
you have a Facebook page, you can also advertise on Instagram if you.
yeah, so I have it connected, so if I post something on my Instagram page, it automatically goes to my Facebook, business page.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have all that set up. I just don't know when I'm doing comments or posting stuff.
Yeah, because you can't set that up
Always
for your
it's
personal
personal,
page,
yeah.
right? It has to be business.
What do you mean?
Like if you post something on Instagram, it shares to the business page. Can you have
No,
it shared to your personal?
Because my
Oh, you
personal
can.
Instagram will always share to my personal Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just have to link the account. But you have to be consistent about social media, you can't just, one day here, one day there,
I think Sam's posting 3 times a day.
Yeah, he also has a social media person, but you can schedule them.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to figure out how to schedule them, come up with content, part of your time blocking, one day a week, spend an hour or 2 coming up with social media content.
Mhm.
You don't even have to have buyers to go out and see houses. We all have our licenses. go schedule, go see a house, and give tours on your Instagram stories, like cool houses, like there are cool houses in Riverton that are like falling apart, but they're like historic homes. People go nuts when I give tours over those.
Do you think like the selling agent, if you just go and preview houses, would be kind of upset that you're
Does she
making?
know?
Really?
No.
Does she know?
You're-
How does she know that you're not
advertising the same?
FaceTiming for a client that can't make it?
That's the beautiful thing about like COVID right now,
Yeah.
or in the sense like, my client's at work, but the FaceTime
Yeah.
type shit. or
Don't
whatever.
worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just
One.
schedule it. If they call and ask, then.
Our
Yeah,
listing
that's-
agreement gives you permission to do that.
So just like
And you have
agent
a-
preview and then just make cool content. on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just be like, listen, I am touring this by myself, just to make sure that it's actually suitable
Hey.
for my client.
Do not call it your listing.
Yeah.
You can, KW
I see
Morristown
people do like
listing.
agents or spotlight listing spotlights, you could call it. I've seen
Yeah.
people post
Yeah, I
that.
had
Listing
agents
spotlight,
and
yeah.
Jimmy's thing call me and ask me if they can, spotlight my listing, and I never care, go ahead.
Yeah.
You just
It's more
use it.
advertising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more, one, it's more advertising for me too,
Right.
if you're paying for it on command for, to pick up your own leads, cool, sell it, let's do a deal together, like,
And what I say is like, if you don't have time, go on Sunday or whatever and preview 5 homes and then just only post 1 a day. And just save your videos and post 1 a day.
Yeah.
Nobody has to know that you're not out like
yeah.
every single day.
That's what it says, John. It's like, I have like a photo of like a awesome farm style sink that took 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Probably
Mhm.
was this, I'm not looking at houses, but no one knows when I took.
People like to see that kind of stuff.
They really
You know
do.
what's
They're
funny?
always messaging me on
If you
crazy.
look at what Allison and Chris posed, it's of the front of the house,
Yeah.
of the kitchen. It's not like giving a whole tour of the house, it doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
Like, it can just be like, oh, this bathroom was like super cool in this
Yeah.
house, and that's what they post. And tag the location, like,
Yeah.
and that's what gets them.
It's like
you know.
intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Chris posted a kitchen that I'll never forget, the leather knobs that you actually sold it,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
everyone, I'm sure you got messages like,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So different things you're seeing.
yeah, absolutely.
And then it
even
starts
just, like, say,
conversation.
like, let's just say you find a kitchen like on MLS, it's like blue /blue, like a whole blue kitchen, like just go in and just be like, make a, what's it called, like the voting thing, people love to vote on things.
Mhm.
And just go on there and just be like, are you into the blue
Because they're
kitchen, yes or
thinking-
no? Yeah,
Fully
They're-
weird tiled bathrooms, are you liking
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
Is this too
like
bold
this.
for you?
yeah,
Yeah, you have to use that, like those voting features and stuff like that, because that's what tells Instagram and Facebook that people like your content. And so when you open Instagram, like when I open Instagram, I can picture what the bubbles look like right now. You, Nicole Gendon, you, like, because I always look at you, because I always look at your
Yeah.
real estate content,
And even if you're not doing a physical post, at least like do something in the story. Because how many times
Yes.
have like, we all just sat at home on the couch and was like, oh, what the hell is this person up to today? Like,
yeah, people watch stories even
Yeah.
more than they
You know what I
scroll
mean?
anymore.
Yeah, and Chris, one thing I wanted to ask you, because I just remembered, but you're doing that spotlight now for the small businesses. How is that going?
It's going.
I love that you're doing that.
So I actually got 1 lead out of it so far, and it's either gonna be cash or it's conventional, but he's trying to find like big multi-family. And we
Yeah.
really have like a price point.
That's awesome.
So
Because you've done how many, 3 videos?
2
2?
so far. and
Yeah.
Next month, trying to do it once a month.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't cost, it's all out like my expense, but then I got a sponsor that covers like half of it. So you can like partner up with someone else and they can eat half the expense just by you saying like, and thanks again for so-and-so for sponsoring this video for 5 seconds. They eat half the price. Why not?
Yeah. And it's so important to like get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like I hate my voice on camera. I haven't done it yet, but like my goal this year is to start, like you're doing the monthly
Yeah, she's doing it
market, which is
so great.
awesome.
Yeah, like I just go through Riverton and Palmyra and I have a photographer, it costs me $300 in like an hour or 2 of my time.
Yeah.
And he just goes around, he makes cool content, he has a drone, he like, you know.
You do it once a month?
Yeah, I do like, and it's
sales.
always like within the first 2 weeks of that following month, and we just do all the past sales in January, and I just go stand up front and I'm just like, 123 Main Street, and then I go in my car and I have this like voice recording thing, and he like voice over, and I was like, 123 Main Street sold for 152,000, it was a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 15,000 square feet house, whatever it is, and
Like Sam does that at the shore now,
yeah,
Mhm.
similar, so.
and he's done it in Morristown too,
Mhm.
so,
And they're not as listings?
no,
By the way.
yeah, sometimes not.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah,
giving a
you-
market report,
Yeah,
honestly.
you don't have to.
Ask
it's
Sam
all
about it
public
next time you see him.
knowledge.
He has agents that call and give him a hard time, but that's because he's
He's
facing
doing
this
it,
competition.
yeah.
and-
Yeah,
But it's perfectly like allowable to do.
And the
that.
shore market's clicky, so I'm sure him trying to bust in there, there's giving
Yeah.
him a hard time.
yeah.
Have you gotten people messaging you from those videos?
Every time I see anybody out, people are like, I love your videos, they're so cute, your voice is so adorable, you should do audiobook. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, people share it, people tag people
Yeah.
in the post. I posted on my page, on my business page, and then like I do Riverton and Palmyra, so I do both of their towns things and Cinnamin's, like, you know, what the local towns are.
You post in the group pages? Like the
Yeah,
community?
like
Mhm.
different townspeople.
The
You
group
post that
pages are the
video that you
best.
make in there?
Yeah,
They don't care?
no,
And it's okay, if, like someone else, like, because she and I are pretty much neighbors.
Oh,
yeah,
I agree.
Like,
Yeah,
we
but something you know how to
do
get.
this-
yeah, yeah,
You do the sales and I do whatever,
and you
but
do
like,
the spotlight.
but like, it's okay if like someone else, another realtors in your town, like, look in the room right now, and none of our business really cross paths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it does, it's usually in a good way.
And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, you know that's gonna be
Yeah,
a
it's
smooth
usually you're the
transaction.
buyer for me, or I'm the buyer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you know, yeah.
I
And
do,
that's the
I,
thing is, don't be intimidated that there are that many agents out there, that somebody else owns that market, somebody else might own your town.
They're
Like,
not doing what you're.
the thing is, it's like, there's like, what, Alex, you've had Joyce for how many years now? 5?
2017.
And we're best friends, and you think our circles are the same, but we've done one transaction together in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, all these other agents, it's just like, there's so many people who want to buy and sell, that it's like, your market's out there, you just gotta meet the people.
they say an agent that controls a farm has 50%, gets 50%. Like
Yeah.
that's the dump, which still leaves.
And that's the type of market I love going into. Like, I'm
Still
like, oh,
leaves
this person
50%.
owns this neighborhood. All right, I'm going in there because there has to be one person that she rubbed the wrong way, or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's
That's a good way to
easier
look
that
at
way. And talking about the Facebook groups, everybody should join like their town group. I feel like it's such an easy way to post where you're not spending money, but you're staying top of mind with people. I've posted like, check out this kitchen, and there'll be a link on my website, and people are nosy. They're like, oh, what's up with this kitchen? And I've gotten like 20 people right into my CRM just from saying, hey, take a look at this
Yeah.
crazy kitchen.
I've gotten leads just being tagged on like mommy pages, like someone's like, I'm looking for a South Jersey realtor, and you know, people tag 1 million people, or someone tags you and then you go and you message them right away, and you know, you just kind of like hope for the best, but like, I know I've gotten transactions out of it, you know, so it's just
Yeah, it's important.
being on top of
But
that.
people tag you because you're active on social media.
Yeah,
If you're not
Mhm.
active on social media, you're not gonna get that tag, you know?
yeah, that's the one thing about our jobs, you can't take that week off from social media, because that week you take off, that I did that one time, and I lost a buyer from high school from it.
Also, check your junk folders, like in
Yeah.
messages.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's true.
spam. I've lost a $400,000 lead that he ended up buying like a week after I saw it.
Oh.
Sucks.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Anything unique people are doing to try to get leads? Like, anybody know anything? Like, I mean, I don't have any kids, but like my dog, I take her to this camp. And the camp actually had, there's like a brewery next door to it. So they like spotlighted their own beer. It was like called the Canine Beer. So they had an event, and me and my lender, we went in and got Frisbees for dogs, and we went and handed out stuff at that event. And like, I actually got a few people that I'm still talking to from that. So anything like out of the box, anybody's doing?
Talking to people, too.
That's, yeah.
Especially with the gym I go to has a sauna. It's only a little bit bigger than this table. right?
You're getting close to the
It's like
sauna.
You're getting close to where you're talking about.
Really?
Right? Yeah, it's
Sure.
like,
How do you think people are compensated that much with each other in the gym?
I mean, it depends.
I think
on,
guys
like,
do more, especially if you're lifting, yeah.
As
As you can tell, I go a
I
lot.
don't know, I think there's kind of like three people at the gym, just like
Yeah.
people at the gym that like just don't want to be like.
There's both, yeah. There's also guys that stay at the gym for 4 hours a day, but you know.
Yeah.
That live it.
If you're at a sauna, like, I mean, the sauna that we have in my gym, like, has like a TV, or always talking about sports.
Mm.
And then it's like, all right, like, let's start that conversation. Then like, you see them again the next day, and like, you start to know them a little bit more, like, slow process, but.
Yeah, a lot of times things like that are slow process, like I joined like a pickleball league and there's consecutively the same like 4 people that come. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna get like a lead from it the first even probably few months that I play with you, so,
Yeah.
but like, now they're gonna know me, and then when you stay after and you start talking, you're like, oh, what do you do, what do you do, and it comes up in conversation, you know, like. It's just like getting involved and having these different types of spheres, you know, like, take advantage of if you have young kids, take advantage of if you play a sport, like, take advantage of all these things that you're a part of.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have a question for everyone. When someone does say, oh, what do you do? What is your response to that?
I sell real estate.
Did you say, somebody else says I sell real estate?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm a real estate agent, like I sell real estate, like I.
And I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but I feel like everywhere I go, like I was in the nail salon the other day and people are sitting next to me talking about the market. Oh, I got this much for my house. This is so crazy. Like people are talking about it because the market's just nuts.
I mean, people on waiting online at Wegmans, places like that,
Yeah.
I was
if
gonna-
I'm wearing a tag.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. Does anybody do that? Like wear the hat or tag and get, I've seen people do that.
I need a hat.
There was one
I
girl,
wear
she's
my
like, I
tag.
would put my name tag on and walk around the mall for an hour and see who would talk to me. Like she just walked the mall.
Were you wearing red?
Yeah, no, it wasn't me. I just heard the story, but she would wear her like Keller Williams tag and then she had a hat. Like I want to sell your house or something.
Did she say it at work?
Yeah, she would have conversations. And if she said like the time she would go, it would be like people who were like retired, just walking around the mall and they were like, oh, I want to sell, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah,
That's a
which
good
by the
point.
way,
Yeah.
I used to work in the mall, and that's like kind of the early morning when it opens and like. right
You get your
before you
walkers.
go in, You get your walkers, oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're
it's true.
In there like sweat here and their sneakers and
Oh,
they go to the
That's a
mall in the
real
winter
thing?
to walk, it's a real thing.
Yeah, that is a thing.
I personally don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
It's a good access.
yeah, yeah, I mean, in the winter.
I guess, I mean,
they
the
don't
malls are
wanna-
big enough, you know.
Yeah,
My grandma does that.
Yeah.
No
hey,
kidding.
do a couple laps in the Cherryville Mall, I mean.
I even know moms that would take their babies and push them in the stroller just to get out of the house and go
Yeah,
and walk
I
the
used to
mall.
do that around the
That's
and in
just a
Target
weird
actually,
thing.
too.
Yeah.
Target would just be a bad place to just walk around,
Yeah.
but.
Do you guys ever have success leaving business cards with like small businesses? You know how you can go into shops and be like, oh, can I leave my cards here?
So I did that with my leftover, I had a bunch of leftover
Lottery
lottery
ticket.
tickets, thank you. And I left half of them at the Palmyra Produce place in town, and then I left the other half at a coffee place. I didn't get any leads from them, but people did like comment on social media when I posted, like, oh, that was such a cute idea, like, da, 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 da.
Can we talk about that for a sec? Because a lot of new agents come in and they're like, I'm dropping my business cards off at every business or every. That's not what works. What works is the
No.
conversation. Having your
Yeah.
business cards at the front is not going to get you a single piece of business probably ever. But what will is the touch. And then going back and then doing the spotlight for them and you're doing it. That's the same thing like putting your face on a shopping cart at ShopRite.
Right.
You're not doing it to get a random person. You're doing it because your past client shops there every day and sees your face there.
It's
Right.
a waste of business cards too, because inevitably someone is gonna take, just dump them and their cards there, or the person running the place, clean it up. And these cards.
Going in and handing, when you walk in somewhere, agree or disagree, you walk in somewhere and the first thing I say to you is, hey, I'm in real estate now, here's my card. You know anybody that needs anything? Or if I went and said, hey, how's your business doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I was in the area and I thought I'd just check in on you guys, how's everything going with you? Which conversation is going to result?
That one.
Yeah. So, and that's what I find. Then the people are turned off every time you go in because they know you're asking for something.
Yeah.
Take my card.
I usually also pick the places that like I shop, so like I go to Palmyra Produce and
100%,
have been
yeah.
going. And I saw that they had a community board, and so when I went in, the one time I had these leftovers, I asked them, and I was like, would it be okay if I like left these here? And he was like, yeah, sure, and I was like, they're like free, anybody can take them, and I'll make a post, and I tag them in it too, and, you know, so.
Yeah, I used to work at the Kettle and Grill, and I'm really close to the family there, and I've worked with them since I was like a teenager, and Chris Bates is actually on there, like, placement. I remember when I used to work there and I didn't have real estate.
Yeah,
And then, so things like that, like places like you're close with and that you're like, you can go to often, I think
Yeah.
those are good.
actually, that you say that, I used to be an assistant for Tim Kerr, and he used to put his face and info on the placemat at a diner. And then every Thursday for lunch, he would go and have lunch there. at the at the diner, like at the.
People are
bar,
looking at their
naked.
mat like, is
That's
that?
what I did.
Yeah,
I did that with, I used to work in a restaurant in Marlton, and I'm close to the family, so I put my business cards in there, and I go to lunch there like every 2 weeks.
yeah,
And all the employees, like, one of the employees, his grandmother's looking for a house, I'm looking for an investment property for the owner.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
that's
very
it.
good. That's
So
it.
they see my face, and every
but it's
time
not
I'm in there, like,
just,
oh, how's the
oh,
market?
here's my face on this placemat, it's
Right.
here's my face on this placemat, and I also support your business.
And you also drop mailers off in the neighborhood
Yeah.
for market value, and you did open house in the neighborhood. Yeah, it works
That's what
together.
I did. The
The haircut place.
She,
Did she cut your hair? No.
She does.
She did cut his hair, I think, right?
Yeah, a little trim. I had a haircut the week before that, but, you know, screw that up. Anyway, I have like my face there, like in her shop, like looking for a fresh cut or looking for a fresh change, and then it has her photo and then my photo on the bottom, whether it's a haircut or for a house. And I was like, mind if I do this here? She's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Like a lot of times they don't care.
yeah,
Especially-
especially if it's somebody you already support.
Yeah.
I want to share another family reunion stat. So the average consumer is in your database for 18 months before they make a transaction, before they result in a transaction.
That's an interesting. stat.
18 months. That's because not everybody in your sphere has their hand ups. You need mission critical, I need money right now. You got to find people who have their hand up. You got to make the calls, call expireds, call FISBOs, go to open houses. But your database, your sphere, long-term, they say average is 18 months before they make it to job. I thought that was
That is
believable,
true.
but crazy.
Yeah, it's super true. I mean, I've had my license for 9 years. I have worked with people for 2 years before they bought a house.
Yeah, 100%.
2 years, 2 years of going out and showing houses. They were never in a rush. They were just waiting for that perfect
Yeah,
house.
you learn to tell when people become serious.
Yes.
You know, people will say now, either I want to buy a house in a year and you can tell it's going to be 6 months, or I want to buy a house in a year and you know it might be longer than that.
Yeah, that has happened to me. I can't even tell you how many countless of times people have been like, all right, Lynn's like, we just want to start.
We want to start
looking."
looking.
You know, so like we'll get pre-approved, but we're probably just like not gonna buy for a couple more months, probably not until like this summer. And then they buy something in 2 months and they're under contract.
And the opposite too.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and the
that-
opposite happens, but that
Yeah.
happens almost more times than not.
Agreed.
When they're thinking about it, they're like, oh, this was just a conversation that just happened, you know?
Yeah, I door knocked once and it was May 2019. I'll never forget this older couple. They're like, yeah, we want a list. Went back Saturday. They're like, we're not ready. So I was like, okay, no problem. Put them on my monthly mailer. So every month they were getting something from me. They called me May of 2020. So it was 2019, May 2020, year to the day. And they're like, we're ready to list. Can you come over? So I come over and my postcard was sitting on their kitchen table when it said like, the time is now. What are you waiting for? And he's like, we saw this and like, here we are. We want to list.
Right
So,
time,
it
right
works.
place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody I talk to door knocking that I think's interested, I put them in my notes in my phone and I'll write, oh, has a dog, has a
Yes,
kid named this.
that's it.
And then I'll write
yes.
them a card, nice talking to you, and then boom, they're on my monthly list.
I forget my clients' kids' names and stuff. I have to put it in my
Yeah.
phone and in command. I have to.
Yeah,
But I think that's like also just having like a normal conversation. Like don't, like what you were saying, that like, I'm a realtor here.
Yeah.
Like. even
that's so
if-
true.
Like shooting a shit like over at, how many people go over to, what's that store over here? TJ Maxx
Mhm.
and all that, and you're standing in that S-shaped line, and like, I don't know, I always do like, they're always trying to con you with these last
Yeah.
minute things. And
Yeah.
like, that either gets the person in front of you or behind you, start chuckling, and then you're sitting there for another 10 minutes, because we all know how long.
Yeah.
And you're shooting the shit, and then you're like, oh, what do you do? Like, I'm a real estate mom. Just getting to know them.
yeah, people prefer when you're not super, super salesy about it.
Yeah, even with door knocking, what I've learned is if you go out and knock on the door and ask the person, hey, are you looking to sell? They're like completely like caught off guard and turned off. But the second you're like, hey, houses are selling in your neighborhood, do you know if any of your neighbors? First off, they're nosy. They're like, oh, well, this person, they're starting to talk to you. And every time I've gotten like lucky to get somebody, they've been like, well, wait, what about me? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then that's how the conversation starts. But the second you're like, do you want to sell? They get all like taken back. They're like, wait, what? No, door shut.
Go away.
Yeah.
Don't buy it.
Yeah.
So. Any last things anybody want to say?
This chart that you have here, did you
Mhm.
really type this? Or you messing? with
Yeah, I
it?
copied this from the,
This chart is like the thing that there's nothing more important than these two charts.
yeah, that's on page 80.
You agree?
And this book, the way it ends, It says you won't regret the time you put into taking action to generate leads. It is always time well invested.
This is exactly what my
Oh,
business looked like for my first 2 years. This is what happens.
So true.
You get a lead,
Yeah.
it goes like this.
Yes,
You get leads,
it's
I
a
get
roller
excited, I
coaster.
get busy, I have a couple under contracts and I'm terrified.
And
And
2
I'm
months you have
not doing
nothing.
lead
Yeah.
gen.
Yeah.
Then we close those 2 and I haven't done any follow-up or lead gen. And
Yep.
now I'm back down here. And now
That
I'm
was
like,
me in
oh, back to
2019.
square one.
January,
that-
February, I had
that's-
closings,
you
March,
gotta
April, I
be
had nothing.
that
May,
consistent
June, I
lead
had
gen.
closed, like, yeah.
That's why you're the way you're doing it, will. Because if you operate like this with a consistent lead gen, as long as you're great at lead gen, everything else, mostly everything else can be leveraged out.
It
But
says
you
here,
gotta be good with
successful
consistent.
people, time block and lead gen.
It's not just real estate too. That's a
Yeah.
crazy thing I watch and I'm fortunate to be a part of a lot of stuff where they bring in people from other businesses. It's so funny. I never realized they talk identical. You're selling windows, you're selling cars, you're selling, it does not matter. It is literally the same. The same thing, different words.
Yeah, the best advice is consistency, consistency, consistency. If you're gonna do something, you've gotta keep up with it. Even if you're like, I'm gonna do these Popeyes 4 times a year quarterly, and 1 month you like got too busy and you forgot to do it the next month. Like, don't think like you can have an excuse. Like, don't make those excuses. That consistent stuff is what gets people business and keeps people top of mind and keeps you from that roller coaster.
100%.
You can hold each other accountable, get a buddy and,
I mean,
Yeah,
did
you,
you lead generate today? Did you?
Yeah.
yeah, when you were talking about doing the videos, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, the 2 of you, or you pick somebody. All right, we'll go to your town and I'll record you. And then we'll go to your town and I'll record you. You have cinematic mode on your 13 Pro. Like,
Yeah.
it looks incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I have a drone, dude, borrow it.
Not
Seriously,
even to get a
anytime.
friend, but get one of those
Ian, get
stands
your
for
firefighting gear, like,
$20.
come on.
You should do that. You should make a
Right?
drone video of the fire station and post it in like
You
the Morse
should.
Cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can borrow it. If you break it, you buy it.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Where are you delivering your Girl Scout cookies to? That was a good
I'm
idea.
doing that to my spirit.
Oh, I love
Like,
it.
yeah, some people, there'll be some family, some spirit, some needs I have.
Yeah.
So-
It's starting to come together for you though. Now.
I love
feel
it,
like
yeah.
we're having a
Yeah,
lot more
I'm on
conversations.
some of that pipeline still, just waiting to.
You know, it's hard for you. It took, that you're more of the 18-month because you're going after Sphere. And you have to build the rapport, the relationship, and you're going after your parents, your friends' parents and stuff like that more than so. It's interesting, but it's a snowball.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you'll have a few things under contract, and you'll have this problem.
Yeah, the best advice was a lender that once said, like, Alex, everything you're doing now, he's like, you don't think it's paying off and you're getting frustrated, nothing's
Yes.
happening, but
Yes.
he's like, one day your phone's gonna ring and it's all gonna be worth it.
Yeah,
And it's so true.
yeah.
So just
I
keep,
even find it to
doing
be
that.
true with my consistency,
Yeah.
that, I'll be like, oh, only two closings for a few months. But I'm consistent about what I do, and then all of a sudden, 1 month where there's like 4 or 6 closings, you're like, holy shit. But it's just like, you take it when it comes and you keep consistent with what you do, because, doing all of these things, like, you're not, like, yeah, cold calling, you might get an immediate response or an immediate lead from it, but, a lot of these other things, like he's saying, they put in your sphere and it takes 18 months. You just have to be consistent, you have to remind people.
18 months can go by fast if you're not thinking.
Yeah, it does. I mean, seriously.
Hey, Alex, you were saying adding somebody to your monthly mailer. What are you doing as your monthly mailer?
so it's all different. Like I do a Popeye, I try to do it once every 3 months now that I'm doing it, but every other month from that, like January, anybody that was my past buyer, it's tax time. So I had a little card that was like, oh, it's tax season, you're gonna need this for your tax returns. And I sent them their CD. That way they weren't looking for it. February, I did the Popeye. March, I'll probably do like a postcard. So all my past clients are getting it. And then anybody that I've met who are knocking and gotten their address, I add them to that
How are
as
you
well.
sending it out? How are you sending the?
So I typed all the addresses on like an Excel spreadsheet, and then my title company, like it's YHJ, they have the list, they design the postcard and then
They just
send it
mail it
out.
for you?
Yeah, it's like a direct mail they
You
do.
do any handwritten stuff?
Yes, so
Popeyes.
December, I do like happy holidays, like a handwritten card in December. I have a whole list I can send out each month, like 1 month it's a recipe, 1 month it's like a market report, one like something different every month.
Yeah, it's cool though. It's good stuff. People like our stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Other businesses, people hate it, but our emails and stuff,
Yeah,
we have the ability to share content that people actually care about.
Mhm.
And that neighborhood nurture, by the way, I just wanted to say, remember, it doesn't matter where in the world they are. get their own address. They could be in Colorado. We'll put you on a neighborhood.
Mhm.
I'm also
Yeah,
curious what the
that's
market's like there. Let me get you on. I don't mind. If you ever, remember that, we're a referral-based business too, so.
Yeah, and something
Just
George
because they don't live
Denny
here.
had told me that I thought was like a great idea for people that are like, oh, I have to sell, but I have nowhere to go. He said, he was like, go look at the shore towns and pull up public records and look in Ocean City and Avalon. And he's like, look where their mailing address is. Is it Marlton? Is it Medford? Is it or another Mount Laurel? He goes, if it is, then go to those people's houses and be like, hey, this is what your house could be worth. And then do you have anywhere to go? Not knowing that that they have a shore house, but
Wait, so you're saying this is how much a shore house could be worth, or what?
no, your house. So sell your primary, go move to your shore house for a little
So
bit.
his targeted list, he's saying, is to look at people who own a shore house.
Exactly,
secondary house.
yeah.
And then look at their
Yeah.
address.
So that way that conversation
You're
stopper is
just
not
going door
there.
to door.
You
public
have somewhere
records,
to go.
Looking the last name up in
Yeah.
like Cape May County,
Yeah.
hoping that they have a shore house. That's a good point, that's
Well, you see where
they
their
are.
mailing address is, and if it's
You
local,
could
if you
do it
wanna
opposite.
go.
You could just go to the
True.
shore house and you could go in Bright and just zoom in on the map in Ocean City and click on every parcel. You'll see the name. You could copy it into.
So you can
public
do that in
record.
Bright?
Could, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe you would need SJS for that, but keep access.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for coming, guys.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
I have one last idea.
Yeah.
I don't use social media, but what if you did like a Q&A to your spirit, whatever,
Mhm.
this was on there, what's it called, Collide?
Yeah, Joe Wanamaker
Yeah.
does that.
I was just wondering how that would be.
You guys want tonight?
He
He
does
said to
do
do a
that.
live Q&A.
Joe Wanamaker does that.
You guys want tonight?
Oh, he does. I wanna see
Like
it.
8:30 on Facebook Live.
So, yeah, it,
I figure people can ask you questions.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Hey, I'll give you a call or I'll give you
Yeah.
a text or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
actually a
social
good
media,
idea,
but just-
yeah.
just think
Definitely
what
get
y'all
on.
talking about.
For business,
Yeah.
definitely get on social media, even if it's just a business page.
Come on, get.
You know, yeah.
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 He knows.
Yeah,
I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, social
I-
media for real
I
estate
never
is
had
just
Facebook
so-
until I became a realtor.
Yeah.
Never had it.
I'm getting around to it. Jimmy is.
Never, and I wouldn't have it if I wasn't a realtor.
I've deleted social media so many times and then like, getting with the license, like you gotta have it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, 2017 is when I got Facebook.
See, that's the thing. So we talked about for Shamel, who's really listing focused, like put somebody else's number on realtor.com, let them take the buyer leads and pay 25%. So,
I'll be interested.
yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying, leverage, you
Yeah.
can, absolutely can.
One thing in general though, I just like to point out, like, cause I know, like, my background, I come from hospitality, it was very like direct, like, oh, you're shit on my table, I'm gonna get 20% from you easily.
Mhm.
Real estate, like you always say, it's like the long term game. It's
Mhm.
not like that immediate thing, so you just gotta have patience, it's like, even though you're excited because you got your clients, you got a client, then you got them under contract, or whether it's a seller or buyer. It's like, there's gonna be weeks where you're just gonna like, you're just sitting there like throwing your thumb, so that's what like you were saying, like, constantly needs to be working. It's not a constant thing. So-
And something else to point out, like you said, like, it's for the long term. I mean, a lot of us are young and are, early 20s, they're not buying $350,000-$450,000 houses right now. They're buying $125,000 to $200,000 houses. And you might be like,
Yeah, but still.
well, still, you get my
Good
point, like a condo or whatever. And, my point is that you might be thinking, well, crap, for this commission, I'm gonna have to do 2 to afford whatever. But it's worth it because like that person does end up buying again. Like
Mhm.
they always do. Like the people who buy the condos, those small, cheap condos, they're gonna buy a bigger house. I mean, it happened to me and it ended up only being like a 1.5 year turnaround and she bought a $130,000 condo. And then this year she got like 2 insane pay raises and bought a $350,000 house. So it's like, just staying in touch with those people and don't ever take for granted, the small ones, because if you lock them in as your clients now and they buy their first house and you do a great job,
They're calling you.
people will not want to use anyone other than you.
Then it's like, the younger girls are telling their parents, like they're telling their parents, and then they're trying to, like me right now, I'm trying to convince my mom, like, why are you living in this 5-bedroom house? When there's literally you, dad, and grandma, like, you don't need this, and then they're doing that with their parents, and then you get talking to their parents, and their parents are, well, how much can my, like, I'm like, well, you bought back in 1990 for 145,000, and in your neighborhood now you're looking at 400,000, or I should go layer up, and they're like, oh my god.
Your past clients should be like gold to you, honestly. Like, they need to be the top. I've gotten so much business from like past people that have used me that either like I had one guy, he's now buying his third investment property with me. Within 3 years, he's bought a property every single year since I've been
They're
here.
your best referral partners.
Yeah.
And the people that they refer you are good.
Exactly.
I had clients today text me apologizing. I'm so sorry to bother you. They're asking me for floor plans for their house. I was like, if you apologize to me one more time,
Yeah.
you're Bob's.
Whatever you need.
You're my client.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know you're busy. I'm like, that's a problem. That's a problem that we get when you post and people think, oh, he's too busy for me. George Kelly talks about that a lot. So.
For spring, the one thing I want to do for past people I've never done before, but I've gotten lists of like contractors for carpet cleaning and electric and this. I want to like combine that list and send it out to people. These are like trusted people that I've used or know of, and like people I've heard that has worked for people.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean, even so, like, that's just to have people that you trust. Like, I even have like a floor guy that does hardwood floors, and so many of my past clients have used him and loved him, and you know, they know it's someone you use in your own house and you trust.
yeah, that carpet cleaner guy, I've given to so many, everybody
Yeah,
loves
that
him.
carpet cleaner guy was great.
Yeah.
I have like my neighbor is a painter, she's fantastic and always beats everybody's quotes, like, especially if it's like a listing, like you're getting, and they're like, oh, we need a painter and somebody can't come, like my girl was quick and reliable, it's just.
And call that contractor and tell them, hey, look, I'm sending out this list. I want to put you on it. Are you okay with that? And they love that. They're like, oh my God. Then they feel like they need to give you something.
Yep.
So.
I always tell people too, like when I give them a number, I always say, make sure you tell them that I sent you. Make sure you tell
Yes.
them I gave you the number, because then they know how many.
The carpet guy
times-
calls me every time thanking me.
Yeah, and even if that person ends up using another painter or somebody else, like still, when they got that initial call, it was like, hey, Lindsay Mills, like gave me your number and I need to get a quote.
Yeah.
You know, and they at least know that you're referring.
We're in the service industry, not in the sales industry.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
guy-
good one. Yeah.
What was that?
we're in the service industry, not in sales. Like, yeah, we sell, right? But like, we do more. We do so much more than that. Besides just selling, marketing.
Yeah. Once you start selling, you realize some of us do more than others.
And why am I?
Yeah, what does it say? Go from entrepreneurial to purposeful?
All right. How about one more from Family Reunion? Were you guys in this, or did you tell me about this, Linz?
Wow.
Every phase of the contract, the agent buys their client a gift.
I saw that.
Yeah,
After
I was in that
inspection,
one.
it was like a row of flower or something like that.
Yeah,
And they said that it drastically reduced their number of deals that blow up
yeah.
because they feel like they're a gift card to a local restaurant or something like that. And it really just helps them get through those
Yeah.
challenging stages.
And
So
you can even, like, I even just did, like, I would bring, like, especially if it was a 9 AM home inspection, just bring, like, ask if they want any Starbucks and stop on your way and
yeah, of
bring
course.
Starbucks, or go to Dunkin' and be like, what do you want from Dunkin', and bring some donuts,
I
or.
was just about that said, if that's what.
Always better to say, what do you want from X than do you want?
Do you
X?
want, yeah.
Yeah, what do you want, yep.
Yeah, you're right. Because if it's like,
Yeah,
do
it's
you, people
always
feel
the-
bad. Do you want something? No, I'm
Yeah,
good.
so now you know if I actually want to get you something, I'll say, what do you want from X?
Yeah. Let me go back to my text. No, I'm kidding. All right. Awesome, guys. I think that's it.
Thanks, Alex.
Sorry, just-
Monday, Friday at 1 is the last listings class for
Who's
Lord.
teaching the next one?
the listings one.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh,
And
I
then-
printed,
and then-
I did this for that week. I'll give it to you.
Oh, okay.
I did the wrong week, so I did it twice.
Language.
For the-
Language.
you're talking-
I'm
No,
talking
not talking
shift.
shift. I'm not
Who's doing shift next? Because I'll give them my material if they want it.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
I don't know.
We'll have to do the-
All right, I'm gonna stop this
No,
Zoom.
no, I did the right one here, but when I first prepared it, I did the wrong one. Oh.